100, 300,000 in action. And then all of a sudden you got 54 out there at certain times at the bottom of the market. So if you can buy technically the top of the market on both sides, you get a nice window, and now you're getting a 20-to-1 shot. So let's say, just say you put $1,000 on one side and then $1,000 on the other, you're risking $100 to pick up $2,000. And if you get reduced juice, you get to pretty much multiply on that. You get $1.05 on both sides. Now all of a sudden you only got to hit one in every 40 windows to cash your tickets. A lot of money to be made in there. That's how the pros made money a long time ago. And it's awful hard to do it nowadays because the sheep follow. The windows, those big windows, get smaller. So you got to really be sharp when you get out there and you attack the games, because sometimes they'll play a trick on you and the pros will go hit something so the sheep will follow, and then everybody follows, and then they go bam, hit it the other way. So it's not as easy as just following. Otherwise, a lot of people would be doing it. But a lot of people are doing it the right way, so if you pay attention to what we're doing around here, hopefully we're going to get you in the right direction, give you some things to think about. Nobody's here to give you any guarantees. Nobody's here to give you any locks, even though Tony Gullidge gave you the exact score. Yes, 38-28 on Coastal Carolina. He gave you the exact score on Saturday. Yeah, we're going to hype the shit out of it. How do we not? It was a fantastic call, but it wasn't guaranteed beforehand. But the man is doing his homework, and obviously when you could come not only that close, but come perfect on a game, but on the other game, Michigan, where he almost hit that one perfect, holy smokes. So I got Tony sitting over here in the wings, and Tony, basking a little bit of sunlight with us, and let us know what you got going here today. But first off, congratulations on a fantastic showing on Saturday. First show of BettorCenter Live with our BettorCenter handicapper, and you couldn't have nailed it any better than that. Congratulations and welcome.
All right, thanks, Luke. Thanks, Luke, for the kind words. Whenever you hit a perfect score like that, it's obviously there's a lot of luck involved. You know, but I'll take some credit. You don't do it too often. It was nice to put it out there for everybody. It was my best play. Have your best play pretty much come out exactly like you thought it would play. Coastal never trailed in the game. They controlled the clock, time of possession. 2 turnovers for UMass, none for Coastal Carolina. They went up 17, 38-21 with about 3 minutes left. I mean, you could light up the victory cigar at that point. And just to make it look sweet, UMass scored with about a minute left for the 38-28 final. So I couldn't have really couldn't have asked for anything better than that.
Well, that's got to put you definitely on the map out here. At the end of the day, you've been working hard for many years, and we finally get you out, and you nail it. Congratulations, and they're gonna be paying attention to you now. So
I'm just more analytical. That's how I handicap the games. I'll go through. You almost do like a flow chart mentality where you're counting how many touchdowns, how many field goals, how many likely possessions, that type of deal. And that's how you kind of base your scores, how you think the teams will score. I'm more concerned with the line and coming up with an actual point spread winner. But I don't mind putting the scores out there, but that's not my forte.
Right. But it's nice. I mean, I still remember as a kid always wanting to watch what the journalists would predict that score, and that's what kind of drove me into doing this. I love reading the predictions of scores, why, and see who's able to predict the future like that.
The Friday USA Today back in the early 90s was always pretty popular.
Oh, no doubt.
I don't know if you remember the Friday edition of the USA Today. They would lay out all the games to watch for the weekend. It'd be like a 2-page with all the games, all the info on all the games. It was actually pretty cool back in the day. Now you got the internet kicking, so it's like those days are over. But
the newspaper has become the Olds paper is really what happened.
that's right.
So it's great getting this information. It's great that you have this avenue and we have this avenue so we can get out there and get information that, you know.
Right. I think it's better for the game, certainly. I think if you can find the edge early, you're still ahead of the game like you used to be 20 years ago. If you did your work early and you staked your position early, you could catch a good one. And it's pretty much the same now. You know, if you're willing to go early, you can usually get the better play. You know, it's the old adage. You know, if you like a favorite, go ahead and take them as early as possible because chances are the line will go up. But if you really like an underdog, sometimes you'll wait a few days to kind of see which way that line's going to tick up or down to get your best price. But if you like a favorite, I would say most of the time take it as early as you can, especially in the NFL is a good one. I mean, if you know you like a favorite early in the week, unless you want to, wait and make sure that somebody doesn't get injured in practice or something, that stuff's pretty rare. I just go ahead and stake it as early as possible if you like a favorite. I don't think you can
anything early there for the NFL you're seeing off the top of your head for this week?
I mean, I'd go ahead and say opening night take New England Patriots. I mean, I'll say that. I don't think that's a big secret. One now. Yeah, I just.
But how do you not? I mean, this is going to be tough come Thursday. We're going to sit down and try to talk about the Patriots and the Chiefs. And, how do you just even make an argument for the Chiefs? You can make an argument, but you can't throw your money there. Can't.
Not me. I'm going to go ahead first game opening. I obviously been waiting 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 months for football. So, I mean, you're going to bet the game. And
well, it's funny that you mentioned some favorites and betting them early. And as you mentioned that, there are a couple things that I like to do early in the week with the NFL, especially with the favorites. It's when I like to bet those favorites down. And I like to cross the key numbers. I like to cross the 7. I like to cross the 4. I like to cross the 3. So I look for those solid 7-point favorites before they become 8 and 9-point favorites, like New England, who has actually opened up a 6. Or like Pittsburgh, I'm not sure, I think they opened up 7. They're bet up to 9, and you got Atlanta. These are solid touchdown favorites where you get to cross over some key numbers, tie them into some teasers. So these are the things that I'm kind of looking at for the NFL, and we'll get obviously more into the NFL because we're going to do this show live Sunday morning, the hour before NFL kicks off. And we'll do a lot more, obviously totally geared towards the NFL. And we're going to gear towards some ideas for the NFL on Sunday on Thursday's show. So hopefully you can give us some ideas of what you're looking at there.
I definitely will be ready for week 1. I'm all NFL. It's almost like a religious activity in my life, man. I just don't miss NFL Sundays. I'm all over it, man.
All right. So you hit Michigan pretty strong as well on Saturday. You gave us a 27-17 score. The game was 26-17 before Michigan hammered one in at the end to throw it over, 33-17. You almost nailed that one too. So it was a great day for you. You've had a couple winning weeks now over on the BettorCenter board, getting yourself back on track. And college football is, what would you say is Tony Gullage's, the great white handicapper, the great white capper? What is his #1 sport?
Just because of the intense work I've put on it over the years, I'm going to say college basketball.
Whew.
That's,
a lot of work done there.
That's I'm going to say that's my bread and butter over the long haul. Just knowing the college game and figuring out how to bet it. I like to use the video game analogy. When we were kids, you had the Miss Pac-Man machine, and you would sit there and you would dump quarters into that machine over and over until you learned the patterns to learn how to play the game.
Yeah.
Right? Once you learned the patterns, you were able to you didn't have to pump as many quarters into it. And I got learning how to.
I'm a little Gallagher guy, but go ahead.
Yeah, I say gambling in a sense is kind of the same thing, man. You don't know what you're doing at first, and you're probably gonna make mistakes that cost you. But if you pay attention and learn from your mistakes, eventually down the road it should, always learn from losing. That's what every time I lose, I try to take something from it and apply it later on.
All right, so let's get down to tonight's game, and let's see what we got going. We got Georgia Tech, and they are at home. They're opening the Mercedes-Benz Bowl, and it's a home game for them. Tennessee's certainly going to have plenty of fans in the audience, and it's a big game for both teams. Tennessee opens up 6, gets bet down to 3. Now we got 4. Totals was 54 up to 55 or so. What are you thinking?
It's an interesting game to handicap. Definitely, there's a couple keys each way. I give the athletic edge definitely to Tennessee. I know both had to replace their starting quarterback. I think the quarterback loss to Georgia Tech is going to be a little more because that guy did a lot for that team. And so replacing him, I don't think it's going to be quick. So
4 quarterbacks for Georgia Tech tonight. 4 quarterbacks, and I think that's going to keep Tennessee a little bit on their heels. We're going to see who Johnson. He really hasn't committed, but when you're running that option with him, I think he's going to keep Tennessee on their heels a little bit.
Matthew Jordan, I think they have as the starter, but they're not sure. He could play. I think there's several guys that he could play.
So
Tennessee's probably going to start 2 different quarterbacks, or 2 will play for Tennessee. You probably likely see 2 different quarterbacks for Tennessee. So definitely there's some things that are unknown in this game. I'm going to go ahead and back who I think is better, the team more on the rise a little bit. I'm going to give it to Tennessee, and I'm going to put out a score again. We'll see how this. See how this goes. I want to go 35-23 Tennessee. 35-23.
Oh,
Tennessee.
He's even going to throw in a 23 on there. You got some balls, Tony.
35-23.
23. All right, 35-23. That's Tony's score for you tonight. Tony, I appreciate you joining us, and we're going to look forward to having you again on Thursday night. Let's get some ideas what you got going for the weekend. Obviously, we like the Patriots, but let's find ways that we can make money with the Patriots, overs, totals, teasers, first quarters, first halves, whatever. So, but we look forward to having you back here on Thursday night and talking NFL and a few college games as well.
Sounds great, Lou. I look forward to it, and good luck tonight. Tennessee is my play.
All right, we got you locked in. That's Tony Gullidge. Got you locked in tonight. He's on Tennessee. He's not worried about laying the floor. He kind of got my opinion, which is to the over. 4 straight overs for the Volunteers in their last 4 games. 4 straight overs versus the ACC. 8 straight overs on a neutral site. 7-2 on grass. 20-6 to the over in September. While the Yellow Jackets in the non-conference games, 12-5-1 to the over. But most of their stuff going from that point a little bit to the under. But I am definitely looking at an overplay here. That's an opinion that I have for tonight's game. Now, we have sitting in the wings Anthony Nassour, who also will be joining us here if we can get him and we don't have any technical difficulties. Since this is our second show, we're getting some things done. We're learning how to bring in a bunch of live people. So meanwhile, right now, as I said, the line on this game, I told you was going to get steamed up a little bit. And actually stations went back down to 55. Westgate moved to 54. Bovada at 56. Heritage 54.5. The Win 55. William Hill 55. And bookmaker has moved the number down to 53.5. So if you're an over player, a bookmaker, they like to buck the trend a little bit. They're not afraid to drop it down a half point to get some of that action and be a little bit ahead of the steam. So if you're looking for the over, bookmaker is where you're going to want to be. So, and as I said, I see a nice solid over. I think Paul Johnson is going to keep Tennessee on their heels, not knowing much about any of the quarterbacks. They're basically going to play themselves against the wishbone. And but they don't know, we don't know, and I think that keeps them on the heels. And I think Georgia Tech gets themselves in a high-scoring game because Tennessee lost their defensive front. Their secondary is what has returned, and which is not good against a running team like this. So, are we going to be able to get Anthony on board with us here? Hold on one second. We'll see if we get Anthony, see if he get us some word on the street, see what's going on with some of those moves. We got about 8 minutes to kick off. And as we said earlier, Tony Gullidge is giving you the score today. Let's see. He's obviously, you know, he hit last week on Saturday. Tonight, he's got a 35-23 ball game, which goes right into my over. Nice, Tony. I like that. So, looking for that game to go over 50, as 55 is the highest number. Well, like I said, 55.5 was at Stations a little bit ago, but now it's back down to 55 solid everywhere. So, game will be kicking off here shortly. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to get ourselves with Anthony here tonight, but we'll be back here on Thursday. Thursday, we have the Patriots and the Chiefs kicking off at 5:30 Pacific time. And then we also have some college football. So we will be here. That will be kicking off and probably somewhere around 4:30 Pacific time. So we will be here probably at 3:30 Pacific time. Bookmakers here, BettorCenter Live on Facebook. And you'll be catching us live from Las Vegas. This is Louis Diamond. Thanks for joining us. See you again on Thursday night with BettorCenter Live. Sorry.